All right, Aniello Piro here, Radio Row in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada, with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Billy Walters. How's it going, my friend?
It's going great. Good to be here with you.
So
Welcome to Las Vegas.
I'm excited to be here, and we've got a fantastic matchup: San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. And you have certainly been around the block when it comes to the sports betting game. What do you make of this matchup? Obviously, Kansas City as an underdog. It would be the second consecutive year in a row they'd be an underdog in the big game. How do you see this one?
Well, first of all, I've never disclosed a pick publicly. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. It's in Las Vegas, my town, and I want to do whatever I can there. And then when I published my book, I committed to the publisher that we would do a pick for the Super Bowl. I like Kansas City, and I'll kind of explain to you why I like Kansas City. And to me, I'll try to break it down to a handful of factors that I think anyone can pretty much follow. I don't think anyone would argue that Kansas City has the best quarterback. I think pretty much everyone agrees on that. I think coaching, overall Kansas City has the best coaching. You know, give Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid, let's say they're even. The defensive coordinators, there's a huge differential. You got a first-year guy from San Francisco that I think's had an average season. I think you got one of the best defensive coordinators in football at Kansas City. Kansas City's got a much better kicker. They got one of the best kickers in all of the NFL. San Francisco has got a rookie who's been shaky during the regular season. So, and overall, Kansas City's got the best defense. San Francisco, outside of the quarterback, they've got the best offensive team. There's no question about that. But to me, you know, I go back and I look at one game during the regular season where there may be some similarities. And when Baltimore played San Francisco earlier in the year, Kansas City's defense is not as good as Baltimore's, but they're pretty damn good. And Baltimore gave this kid fits, and I think he's going to run into something very similar here. I said kid, pardon me, he's not a kid. He's a grown man, and he's a good quarterback, but he's certainly not Patrick Mahomes. And then what I do in Super Bowls and playoff games, I could see where they can make this game during the regular season. They can make San Francisco maybe 2. But in a game like this, I really increase the importance of the quarterback. Quarterback's the most important player in the entire game. You got the guy in his prime, best quarterback in the NFL. He's won 2 Super Bowls against another quarterback who's never played in a Super Bowl. And frankly, he hadn't exactly burned it up playing in other playoff games. Okay, you've got the best defense, overall defense. Those are the 2 most important things to me. And you got the best kicker by far. So those things are, you know, to me, and I increase the importance of those in playoff games and Super Bowl games. And I'm sure that's the reason that, you know, I made Kansas City a 2.25 point favorite. I think they got their own team favorite. So anyway, we'll see. My pick is worth what I'm charging you for it. It's worth 0. So I bet on 57% winners. I bet on 43% losers. So I very well could lose this game, and it won't be the first or last one I lose. But I've given you my opinion. I've told you why, and that's generally my, you know, my strategy. Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, you've obviously bet a number of Super Bowls, a number of big playoff games in your career as a sports bettor. How much does the experience factor, right? Because you talk about Purdy, who hasn't necessarily been there. Kyle Shanahan has played in the big games, but hasn't come out victorious. And then on the other side, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and company, they've been in this big game time and time again. Do you put more emphasis on the experience? Because there's a general take out there that San Francisco's the more talented team. They've got the better weapons. But to your point, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid have been there and done that.
Running backs and tight ends aren't as important as quarterbacks are. I mean, anybody that does sports, that's why quarterbacks make $50 million a year. Okay, they're the most important player on any team. They have the most value of anyone. And in a big game like this, where you got a guy in his prime who's basically a Super Bowl veteran against a guy who's his second year and he's a rookie, I think it means a lot. And I think it more than offsets those other things. Again, you know, making a line on a sporting event is kind of like baking a cake. Everybody puts in generally the same ingredients.
Right.
Some people put a little bit more in or a little bit less in than others. Again, it's pretty obvious. I'm giving more importance to the factors I think I pointed out than possibly other handicappers are. You know, that's just my opinion, and you know that's what I do. I make a line on a game. I bet my opinion against the bookmaker's opinion, and fortunately for a long time, my opinion's been a little bit better. So.
In general, I'm curious because, you've been around the block when it comes to the sports betting game. You've seen it come and go and how it's evolved over time. I'm a younger guy myself. What advice would you give, or what would your thought process be if you were a younger guy in the modern age of sports betting today? Because now there's all different types of ways. You got all these different parlays, same games, right? It's not just spreads and totals anymore. How do you view the modern era of sports betting?
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity with it, but the bottom line is I think you got to be informed, and the problem you've got, almost none of these new sports bettors are informed. Everybody is kind of betting under the pretense they're laying 11 to 10. A lot of these propositions, a lot of these teasers, parlays, in-game stuff, you're laying $1.50. You got no chance to win, zero chance to win. So I think the most important thing you could do is get informed. And I think you need to know the odds you're laying when you make a bet on something. Right now, there's no requirement for the sports books to disclose to you what the true odds are. So people are going in and they're betting these parlays, thinking they're laying 11 to 10, they're laying $1.50. They got no chance to win. And so the reason I wrote the book, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have taken $20 million for the information I put in this book. The primary reason, I wrote this book for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons I wrote the book is I'm 77 years old. This is my legacy, okay? I see all these millions of sports bettors out there who are just starting to bet. They don't have a clue of what the right price is. They don't have a clue to how to compare a money line to what the point spread is. They don't know what the fair price to pay is for half a point. They don't know any of those things. I put graphs and charts in there to show it's so simple anybody can follow it. Even then you're probably going to have a tough time winning, but you got a chance. Right now, with what you've got, with kind of the monopoly's been created, and you do have a monopoly, don't kid yourself. You got a handful of sports books that control all of this. You got no transparency in the pricing at all. And then people are betting on stuff and so first thing I would do is get myself informed about what I'm doing, the true odds I'm laying. And the second thing I point out in the book, you got to get value. You can't have one account. If you have one account, you're a sucker, you got no chance. Betting on sports is like shopping for a car or groceries. You need to get multiple accounts. Like on this game here, there's 2, there's 2.5, there's 2 minus 0.2. The money lines are going to range from $1.10 to $1.20. They're all over the board. But if you shop around a little bit and you look at variety, you got a much greater chance. The number 2 is an example. It only lands on 2.5% of the time. Okay, so 1 out of 40 games is going to land on 2. Okay, if there was 2.5 out there and you took 2 and it landed on 2, you're not going to win. You're going to get a tie. You feel like a sucker. Okay, if you laid 2.5 and there was 2 out there and you lost your money, you feel like a bigger sucker, right? So if you're not informed and you don't shop around, the less chance you're going to have to win. It's just that simple.
Right. One more for you before we get you out of here. We're chatting with Billy Walters here at Radio Row. Las Vegas, Nevada, right? It's Sin City, big sports betting town for a long, long time, but sports betting for a long time was viewed as taboo, right? The NFL, all these different leagues didn't want to come out here. What's been your feel for the first Super Bowl in Vegas so far? What's it been like for you?
First of all, it's a dream come true for me. I moved here in 1982. I was arrested here in the gaming capital of the world in 1990 for betting on sports. Betting on sports. Now here we are, 2024. We're hosting the Super Bowl. Las Vegas was always meant to be a sports town. Now it is a sports town. I don't know of any town in America that's any better suited to be a sports town. Whatever little success I've had financially, I owe it all to Las Vegas. That's the reason I'm here. I'm here to support Las Vegas, the Super Bowl, and frankly, the fact that we do have legalized sports betting. You got transparency. You can get paid. You got jobs. You got taxes being created. There's a lot of positives that have come out of this. I think there's a lot of things that we need to do to make this better, and we can make it a lot better than what it is. But did I ever dream this would happen? When I was being taken out of my house with handcuffs and being arrested for betting on sports, no, I never dreamed we would be hosting a Super Bowl in Las Vegas, but we are, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're happy to be here. I think I speak for most people in this room. I think everybody's having a great time here in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Billy Walters, my friend, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy being with you.